Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 3, Irish Invasion Myths. The goddess Aine. Another typical entity was Aine, the patroness of Munster, who is still venerated by the people of that country. She was the daughter of the Danann Awel, a foster son of Manannan, and a druid. She is in some sort a love entity, continually inspiring mortals with passion. She is ravished, it was said, by Ailill Alum, king of Munster, who is slain in consequence by her magical arts. And the story is repeated in far later times about another mortal lover who is not, however, slain, a Fitzgerald, to whom she bore the famous wizard Earl. Gerald, the fourth Earl of Desmond, he disappeared, it is said, in 1398, and the legend goes that he still lives beneath the waters of Loch Gur, and it may be seen round its banks on his white steed once every 7 years. He was surnamed Gerald the Poet, from the witty and ingenious verses he composed in Gaelic. Wizardry, poetry, and science were all united in one conception of the mind of the ancient Irish. It'd be interesting to find out where it is on that cycle, but the cursing of a rapist is certainly appropriate enough of a concept. Many of the aristocratic families of Munster claim descent from this union. Her name still clings to the hill of Aine, Knock Aine, near Loch Gur in Munster. All the Danann entities in the popular imagination were earth entities. Dai Tereni, associated with the ideas of fertility and increase. Aine is not heard of much in the bardic literature, but she is very prominent in the folklore of the neighborhood. At the bidding of her son, Earl Gerald, she planted all Knock Aine with peas in a single night. She was, and perhaps still is, worshipped on Midsummer's Eve by the peasantry, who carried torches of hay and straw, tied on poles, lighted round her hill at night. Afterwards, they dispersed themselves among their cultivated fields. Auralitha, if you want to see some of the ideas that I've put forward seasonally, certainly one has touched on this area. Afterwards, they dispersed themselves among their cultivated fields and pastures, waving the torches over the crops and cattle to bring luck and increase for the following year. On one night, as told by Mr. de Fitzgerald, who has collected the local traditions about her, the ceremony was omitted owing to the death of one of her neighbors. Yet the peasantry, at night, saw the torches in greater number than ever, circling the hill, and Aine herself in front, directing and ordering the procession. And see, the mythology has changed a little bit to include the reference to the Christian holiday a little later than solstice night, yeah. But with the gin take part of, and sometimes it's what people step away from. People feel like they have to do all these rituals, and maybe even, but it's, the invoking and evoking may not make a difference in their presence in terms of whether they're there or not. On another St. John's night, a number of girls had stayed late on the hill, watching the Clears torches and joining the games. Suddenly, Aine appeared among them, thanked them for the honor they had done her, but she said she now wished them to go home, as they wanted the hill to themselves. She let them understand whom she meant by they, for Recalling some of the girls, she made them look through a ring. When, behold, the hill appeared, crowded with people, before invisible. Here, observed Mr. Alfred Nutt, we have the antique ritual carried out on a spot hallowed to one of the antique powers, watched over and shared by those powers themselves. Nowhere save in Galdem could be found such a pregnant illustration of the identity of the fairy class with the venerable powers to ensure whose goodwill rites and sacrifices, originally fierce and bloody, now a mere simulacrum of their pristine form, have been performed for countless ages. And the Voyage of Braun, Volume 2, page 219, is something that we might look at here. Popular Tales of Ireland Review, Celtic, Volume 4, the mention Fitzgerald. I think I said that, but so sometimes the spirit's like a quiet thing, and sometimes it's like it's our space, and sometimes that's why we don't get much detail about things. It's like I've been told some locations, and these locations I've pointed out certain nexions, as you could say it, and others I have kept to myself because that seems to be either the tradition among the humans or seems to be the implication of what the spirits might want, and or it just doesn't seem like a detail that I should share. But it's not that I'm avid of the unseen or that I'm stingy of the unseen. That's not my intention with any of this.